Rob and Robbo.
It's the most talked about TV show that's not on TV.
And I think you guys are amazing.
With raw, honest opinions.
This was not a mistake. This was a lie.
Exclusive stories.
Some industry insiders have been talking about this.
Is that a Ben, Rob and Robbo exclusive?
And plenty of famous faces.
I'm not wasting these gold moments on 60 minutes.
The Ben, Rob and Robbo Show is the new way to stream your news.
This is the stuff that headlines are made of.
Live every Monday to Thursday at 1 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time on Ticker TV or Facebook and Twitter at BRR Show. Watch live or on demand.
Ben, Rob and Robbo.
Streaming across the globe, Ben Norris, Rob McKnight and David Robinson.
Ben, Rob and Robbo. News, entertainment. It's the Ben, Rob and Robbo. Ben, Rob and Robbo Show. Ben, Rob and Robbo Show.
Welcome to the Ben, Rob and Robbo Show. Here's Rob McKnight.
Hello there and welcome to the Ben, Rob and Robbo Show. I am Rob McKnight. It's great to have your company today. And as you can see on our ticker friends, there's a major NAB software outage today. But let's bring in Ben Norris and David Robinson. Hello, boys.
Hi, how are you?
Hello.
Robbo, it's good to see you. Did you have a great weekend?
Oh.
Yes, thank you very much, Robert. Did you?
Yes. What's up, Ben? Did I not go to you first? Are you upset?
No, I was frozen on my screen, so I thought that I wasn't there. So I thought you just bypassed me because you were like, oh, well, clearly his internet's not working today. But no, everything seems to be fine. You look fabulous, and we got to see a very different angle today of you and Amanda looking fabulous in the studio, to be honest with you.
Well, we've actually got a new camera that we can move about the place. It's all wireless now, so I can move that camera and give a different angle each day. So
Unbelievable.
very exciting
Technology
stuff.
these days.
But look, just to bring you the breaking news that you can see on your ticker screen, there are major outages to online banking capabilities have struck NAB customers. The Big Four Bank on Monday morning confirmed it was aware of significant technical issues to its network. The mobile banking app, desktop internet banking, NAB merchant EFTPOS terminals and NAB Trade were all affected. So if you're trying to do some banking through NAB, you now know what the problem is. Today, there's a lot happening in the world of coronavirus in Melbourne. We'll be getting to that. We'll be discussing it in our hot button issues. And we're going to go and see what's happening out on the street as we visit a celebrity hairdresser. We'll also be talking TV with Mulk, and Ben has got a lot of entertainment news to come your way. But first, let's get into those hot button issues. And low coronavirus numbers across the state had Victorians hopeful yesterday as Premier Dan Andrews announced more easing of restrictions, but many were left disappointed. Let's have a look at some of what he had to say.
So today, with numbers low, and not just numbers, but the stories behind them being compelling stories of this virus being pulled up, I'm very pleased to make the following announcements. From 11:59 p.m. tonight, the following changes to restrictions will be made. There will be no time limit on leaving your home for exercise or for socialising. The travel distance from your home will move from 5 kilometres to 25 kilometres. Outdoor gatherings will increase to 10 people from 2 households. The following settings will be open, subject to, of course, COVID-safe conditions. Tennis, skate parks, golf. Hairdressers will be back open. Real estate auctions will occur with a maximum of 10 people, and commercial real estate inspections can occur. Outdoor pools can host 30 swimmers. We just have a little longer to go. Just a little longer to go in order to see off this second wave, to defeat this second wave.
Well, notably left off that list was the retail and hospitality industry, who are forced to wait until the next checkpoint on November 1st. Many people are also criticising the increase of travelling up to only 25 kilometres from your home. Even with the Premier admitting it was difficult to cite a specific public health justification for that boundary. Dan Andrews has also stated that on average each day more than 1,000 jobs are being lost. Ben, as we well know, you are in lockdown. You've been there there for more than 100 days. The daily case numbers on some days have been even lower than New South Wales, but these restrictions are very tight. Is it frustrating, or do you understand why?
Oh, look, I definitely understand why. And you look at some of those statistics comparing us to, overseas places that didn't take this strict measure. And I'd much prefer to be a Melburnian and to have gone through what I have gone through to be in this current position. I was really disappointed, to be honest with you, Rob, that I thought that we were going to get a little bit more things eased. We didn't, and it looks like that is going to happen on the 1st of November. But at the end of the day, it's about community transmission. It's about making sure that we're on top of that. So I understand the reasons why Dan is doing that, and I'm going to go to Uncle Dan's or make an extra order, Uncle Dan's being Dan Murphy's, so that I can finish the next 2 weeks being a drunk.
Now, Robbo, I've got to say, if there's a flare-up in numbers, Dan Andrews will be crucified. He's got to take precautions, doesn't he?
Yeah, but this is what I'm starting to get confused about. What happens when, we open up the borders again internationally and also internally? Like, I'm really starting to question this kind of really strict lockdown because there won't be a cure for it. So you're doing all these lockdowns, keeping everyone locked up. To what end? Now, unless Victoria and Australia closes their coastlines to anyone else forever, then we're going to always be living with the coronavirus. I'm starting to question, and he's talking about eradicating and all that kind of thing. It won't happen. Am I starting to miss something?
Everyone is
here?
just basically hoping for a vaccine, and so the idea is that contain it now, try and stop people from dying. And during that time, a vaccine. We just saw today Pfizer in the US has actually started vaccines on the production line. They are not ready to go out yet. What is happening there is that they still have, I think it's a phase 3 trial to go through, but they're confident that they've got the right thing. So they've actually started running these on the line so that once they get clearance, they can actually start distribution.
But when
But
could
it's
that
undeniable,
be, though?
guys.
What if that's not till next year?
Can I just quickly jump in here? Because I think I'd love to say something here. Robbo, what do you think when you look at those numbers? When you look to see that Victoria was up in the 700s and, our death toll was higher than everyone else's, don't you think it was a good move to try and get a hold of the mistake that was made in Victoria and get those numbers down to a sort of an even par to the rest of the states around the country? Like, wasn't that...
Yeah.
Didn't we achieve that?
Yeah, of course. But then you can only keep that out there if you then lock everything up and you never let anyone else. Yeah, you can absolutely bring the numbers down, close the borders, close the international borders, but you can't do that forever. So I'm a little
that's
confused.
The idea that they're hoping for a vaccine to come, which, as I said, we saw coming off the production lines today, in the hope that getting the numbers down, getting people to a new normal where we're socially distancing and the virus has been minimalised, that we can actually start to have some kind of normalcy in Melbourne. I'll tell you what I do hate, though. I'm hating this continual politics being played by the federal government against Victoria. Josh Frydenberg every day is out there attacking Dan Andrews, blaming him for everything. Andrews actually flared up at today's press conference about it and said, I think the line was, he's not a leader, he's nothing, but he is just a Liberal who is making it all about politics. And I agree with that. This should not be about politics, but we're seeing the opportunity used to slap Dan Andrews down time and time again, and the Queensland Premier. And yet, Gladys Berejiklian, who happens to be a Liberal, is untouchable from a federal perspective. They support her. We've had the Ruby cruise happen. There's a big problem going on with her leadership, with the whole affair with the guy who's going through ICAC at the moment. So, at what point, Robbo, do we stop playing politics with this?
Well, you never do, because it is all about politics. It's all about politics. The world doesn't run with politics.
Playing politics? Do you reckon?
Of course he is. He's a politician. But his description is to play politics. That's the whole thing. He played politics with the hearings, with the inquiry into the hotel quarantine. He had a lot of politics with that. He's played politics with his phones. Yeah, absolutely. I'm finding it weird that you're all of a sudden noticing that politicians play politics.
Oh no, I actually do agree with you. I think though I'm going to give Andrews the benefit of the doubt and say yes, he's obviously having to think politically, but I actually do feel like he's trying to do the best thing for that state as well.
I understand the thing about vaccine. We don't know when it's going to come off. Yeah, that's great PR from Pfizer, of course, to put out. Look at what we're putting through the machines and through the plants and things like that. That's fantastic. I don't believe it yet, obviously, and I just worry if Australia and Victoria specifically do really great things and as they've done and bring the numbers down and everything like that, but other countries in the world haven't done the same good job. So are we going to be closed countries forever, or until a vaccine is available? I'm starting to get to that point again where I'm thinking a lot of other things are dying, like businesses, domestic violence is up, suicide is up, all of those kind of things that are kind of peripheral to but
it's not,
coronavirus
Robbo.
and the lockdown and things like that.
What are you talking about? We know that it's not. Like, go and read the statistics. You're obviously uneducated on that because the suicide numbers are not up. It's simply a lie. So why say that for? The statistics are everywhere. You can watch the year-on-year of mental health and suicide rates in this country and they're not up. So why do you keep saying that?
Because it did. You're quoting an old study. Another study came out last week that said the number.
Our numbers are still not up. They at times have been at the same level, but they're not up.
You just said that they were not up and that I was uneducated. I'm telling you that a new study came out that said that they were up. That study came out last week.
Okay, well, we should have brought that onto the show because everything that I've read hasn't said that at all. So I'm obviously wrong.
It's a hell of a thing to call him uneducated, though, mate. There's one thing I'll give Robbo, and I don't give him many things, but he does do his research.
Okay, yeah, look, I understand that. And look, that is a little bit unfair. But at the same time, you have to understand my frustration that the whole time that this COVID-19 thing has happened, we've heard people saying that the whole way through. Suicides are up, people are dying, but it just wasn't true. And so, look, if I'm the person that's uneducated, I'll wear that because I feel bad that I haven't seen those figures, and I feel bad for saying that to Robbo, but you can understand the knee-jerk reaction from me considering that it has been a lie.
Well, what I'll do is, Robbo, and that was a joke about, I won't give you much, but Robbo, what I'll get you to do is find that document.
You bastard.
What I'll do is I'll get you to find that document at the end of the show and whack it on our Facebook page in the comments section of today's video, if that's all right. Sure. All right, it may have been around for over 100 years, but the original Australian Federation would be no more if a few politicians get their way. First, it was WA that wanted to get a divorce from the rest of the country, and now it's North Queensland who wants to be separate from the rest of the Sunshine State. It's the policy debut of the North Queensland First Party, who reckon that Northerners are sick of being told what to do by city-dwelling Southerners. The idea isn't new. The proposal has been floating around for years, but the party thinks support for the split is gaining momentum. All right, Ben, is this a good idea? Do you reckon you could see this happening?
I just want to know why we all want to get segregated. That's what I want to know. Like, why are people so desperate to be segregated?
Because Queensland is a very big state, and it's like the whole daylight saving debate in this state, in that people up north are like, the last thing we want is daylight saving, whereas people in Brisbane and the Gold Coast would love to be on daylight saving because there's a lot of business they do with Sydney and Melbourne, and so it would make things easier. Look at us. It's 12:14 here in Queensland as we go to air, whereas 1:14 in New South Wales. We actually have to do the show an hour earlier, Robbo and I, because of our location of being in Queensland, which is fine, but that's just one of the things you do during daylight saving. What they're saying is that they're sick of decisions being made by Brisbane-based focus, which isn't helping or affecting northern Queensland.
There is a real, from being in Queensland, I was in central Queensland, so I was a little bit more north than where you both are.
Yep.
And I must admit, there is very different ways of life. There's different Queenslanders. I guess you could really put that down to, who is more attached to the city and who is more attached inland, of different resources like farming and things like that. So, look, there is some real merit in what's being said here, and I can understand that. But look, at the end of the day, I just don't see it happening. I don't see that sort of segregation happening, as much as I can sort of see where people are coming from.
It's never going to happen. Imagine the amount of money and resources that have to be done to build new state parliaments and all this kind of stuff. But Robbo, is it just a platform? Is it a stunt, or is this something Northern Queenslanders really want?
Well, I just think the greatest kind of mistake here, I guess, or the failure is local politicians, because North Queensland, the state of Queensland is a very big state, as you said, Rob, but we've got representatives. So if you're thinking that a lot of decisions being made in Brisbane or Canberra and things like that, and not a lot's happening in the area, well, that's kind of up to your local politician, both state and federal. So I kind of it out about how it's all this blaming of the Southerners and things like that. You've got someone who travels down and back up again. It's their job to provide for you at a state and federal government level. I don't think it'll ever happen. I'm concerned about the fact that they just think everything's happening from down here and there's no one up there. It's like a wild, stupid.
A very good point, actually. Well, look, it's one of the most intense love-hate relationships, celebrities and the Paps. This time it's Nine's Tracy Grimshaw who's firing across the bow. Over the weekend, the Current Affair host posted to her Instagram and she wrote, "Paps in my street again. Now here's the thing. While he got some shots of me giving my dear 30-year-old gelding a gentle handwalk at least 100 metres within my private property, I got him on CCTV hanging out the driver's window of a moving vehicle taking pictures. Snap. Oh, and this is what I look like today. The usual no makeup, horsehair, sweaty mess. You're welcome." Many of her colleagues in the media liked the photo and posted messages of support. But it did get us thinking. People in the media want to be famous. That's why they chose the industry to be in and put in incredibly hard work to get a successful career. But doesn't getting papped come part and parcel with the big money and fame? Or should they be allowed to pick and choose when they want the attention? This is a typical argument when it comes to celebrity, but Robbo, I think the twist here is Tracy Grimshaw hosts a show which doorstep knocks on people, which chases people down the street with cameras. What's good for the goose?
Yeah, you remember that John Safran stunt in the mid-90s where he found Ray Martin's house and went through his because a few stories had been done like that on A Current Affair when he was hosting it. Now, no spoilers here, but Ray certainly wasn't happy when the tables were turned onto him for the show that he hosted and the stunts that they do. This annoys me because you get all the money, you get all the fame.
He was so unhappy, he contacted the managing director of the ABC and got the footage pulled. It actually never would have gone to air unless Media Watch dug it out and played it to show what had happened. So that was the power of a guy on another network calling the ABC to get a story spiked.
Yeah, well, it's great showbiz stuff, but this is what worries me. You both now, all of these people want to be in magazines. They all want to have the attention. That just goes part and parcel in people who want to be on camera. They were never anointed by a higher power and just plucked out of obscurity and put in the desk. They fought really to get there. They love the attention. They want to be there. You then can't pick and choose when you want to get photographed. Yes. Light argument here of going, she was 100 metres within her house. But again, it's Tracy Grimshaw. So she hosts a show that does worse than that. And finally, it's once these magazines or these paps stop paying attention to, they will act very differently because it's all part of it. So if you don't like it, if you don't like the money, you don't like the fame, you don't like the power, then get out. Then no one will take your picture. Easy.
Ben, what do you think? Look, there is an issue. If he was on her property, that is a problem for me. But from a PAP point of view, what do you reckon?
I'm sort of confounded by both of your opinions on this because you keep saying that people who are on television, they want to be famous, that they want to be chased like this, that they adore the attention. And I'm here to tell you that that just can't be the truth across the board.
Chased.
No. You're saying that they want to be famous and they want the attention. Is that what you said?
Yes, I said that. Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't.
100%.
And you know what? I just really don't agree with that. And I also would love to say to the two of you that things change as well. When you work as hard as you can and you get to certain levels and then you find yourself having your anonymity taken away and it is all of a sudden a different feeling. I can tell you that from the perspective of being papped myself. at the beach looking fat and disgusting. Look, at the end of the day, yes, I went on Big Brother.
Yeah, but-
Yes, I've got a profile. But let me tell you,
this is
being
no,
fat and disgusting at the beach is not really that fair, is it?
It wasn't, though. It wasn't like this is a brand new thing. So you wanted to be on Big Brother, you wanted to be on camera, you wanted to have a career in the media, and then all of a sudden this new thing started where it is paps and media and stuff. Before you signed up and when you worked really hard to get there, you knew that this was part and parcel of the job. So you can't then get in there and go,
I'm here to
I
tell you,
didn't
though,
like
that
it,
it
I'm not gonna
changes.
have
No,
anonymity.
it does change.
I don't like that.
Logically,
Well, then stop-
Hang on. I just
stop
want to say
searching it out,
I'm actually
though.
not a big fan of the paps, and I agree with you, Ben, about the beach shots and all that kind of stuff. You see celebrities at the beach, and I think, God, they deserve their time on the beach. I think the fundamental problem I hear, and I respect and really like Tracy Grimshaw, but she hosts A Current Affair, which makes promos and stories about fronting up to people and knocking down their door and all that, not literally knocking down their door, but you know what I mean, following them down the street, chasing them down. You've done this wrong, you've done that.
cameras.
And,
Hidden cameras.
and as soon as the tables are turned, she doesn't like it. And I remember I was there when Richard Carlton died in Beaconsfield, and the first thing the media did, including Tracy, was they put blankets up so no one could get shots. And I remember thinking, here is all the media, all of Australia's biggest media across all networks, here shooting an event in the mine. And it's the moment that tragedy happened. It was a tragic event, how Richard Carlton died. But they wanted their privacy. They wanted their respect. And all of these crews go around chasing people, chasing these events, shooting these moments, and they didn't like it when there was the possibility of it being turned around. And I think it's hypocrisy gone mad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that you're right in the sense that it does feel very hypocritical. And, whilst I'm trying to just very carefully present my argument with this, I think that Tracy Grimshaw has always felt a little bit separate to the brand. And I might be wrong by saying that.
You can't do that, though. You either front up and take the hundreds of thousands of dollars that you get for fronting up that show, but you can't distance yourself from the brand. I don't think that's reasonable.
Yeah, and I can see why you see the hypocrisy there. I really do. But at the same time, I can also see the frustration of a woman who is still a real person who probably doesn't want that kind of, unnecessary. And why do we care what Tracy Grimshaw's doing out the front of her house? I really don't care about that. I don't understand why the paps are taking photos of her. Leave her alone. She's just the host of a TV show.
Look, yeah, as I say, I'm not supportive of the paps. I really am not. I just don't like the hypocrisy. Well, look, here's one for you. A family we know, as in Amanda and I, has spent a small fortune buying a pup from a breeder. In fact, the dog was the same price as a small car. Now, 2 weeks in, they've discovered the poor thing is blind. Now, the breeders didn't know about the condition, and it appears everything was done in good faith. But here's the question. Should the breeder refund the money and allow the dog to be returned, or should the owners keep the dog because in life, nothing can be guaranteed? Being a blind dog, there's no doubt, is going to add a lot of extra work to this family. What do you think?
I think that this is really hard to understand. My partner and I, we wanted a second dog, and so we thought we did the right thing. We got certificates to prove that they weren't breeding these dogs illegally, and it turned out once we adopted this dog that there was a number of problems. She had a tumor, her back legs sometimes stopped working, and it was a horrific situation. Did we go and knock on the door and ask for our money back? Absolutely not. We made a clear decision that for whatever life this dog was going to lead, it was going to be loved, and we were to look after that dog. Sadly, what happened was that on its first birthday, on Charlie's first birthday, we had to make the difficult, being advised by the vet that she should be put down because her quality of life was not worth what she was going through. And I think at the end of the day, when you are adopting animals, you're going to need to understand that you're adopting the whole thing. It's not like an iron that you go, oh, the iron's broken, so give me my money back. These are living things. And you've made that choice. Now you need to love that animal for as long as that animal is alive. That's what I believe.
Robert?
Yeah, I agree with that. You can't return an IVF baby if something's gone wrong. You spend a lot of, obviously, trying to fall pregnant, and that is tragic. But I agree with Ben. Like, you've obviously paid a lot of money. It's tragic that the little fella is blind. However, yeah, you made the decision to get a dog, and you just have to stick with that, I'm afraid.
Well, I would suggest that in the interests of fairness, maybe the dog owner, and sorry, I just realised we've got the wrong super there. That was my distraction. We just haven't updated that. There we go. I think in the interests of fairness, the breeder should give them back the money. The family keep the dog and put some of that money towards the bills that will come their way, I'm sure.
Yeah. I think that's right. I think that's a good...
Hey, I'm here to solve problems, Robbo.
I know you are.
All right, Disney has some of the most beloved movies of all time, but moving forward, there are now some serious warnings now attached to some of these classic films. It's time for a hit of entertainment. Benjamin J. Norris, what can you tell me?
Well, for a while now, we have been seeing the ill effects, I guess, of cancel culture. We've talked about it a lot on the show, but alternate options are now in practice, and Disney will be protecting their content integrity with some classifications on some of, the really popular films like Peter Pan, Dumbo, and The Jungle Book. A lot of these films in particular are culturally insensitive, so expect to see some warnings on those titles before the film. We just got to see a little quick glimpse of that, and I will tell you that inside that description it says the program includes negative depictions and or mistreatment of people or cultures, and these stereotypes were wrong then and are wrong now. These titles are not just the only ones. This is right across Disney's streaming services that those warnings will appear pretty much straight away. What do you think, guys? Do you think that this is the right move going forward, or is it still culturally insensitive to leave these films intact with that content?
Well, personally, I think this is a good thing. I don't want to see a cancel culture on films that were a product of their time. Historically, we will lose everything. There are things we're doing now that 50 years down the track, they're going to look back and say, can you believe people behave that way in 2020? The fact is, this is historical. I don't mind the context. I don't mind the warning in front of it. And that gives the viewer the choice of watching it or not. Robbo?
Yeah, and it also creates that kind of, I guess, good conversation. When a young kid might see that warning, they then maybe have a conversation with their parents or their grandparents, whatever, and just go, well, what's the problem here? When they're very little, and you go, well, that's actually not a great way to do this. And it's just, I guess, gives that extra layer, I think, in teaching our future generations that there are some bad things that had happened. This is why they're bad, but at least we still get to enjoy the overall movie, say, of Dumbo and things like that. I think this is really, really mature and intelligent by Disney to not just pull them from streaming, but just have that there. I think that's fantastic.
Yeah.
And that's really surprising in this day and age with such a massive corporate Disney, obviously very much a family-orientated brand, wants to, be cool with everything. I think this is fantastic. Well done.
All right. Well,
I think as well, Disney... Sorry, I was just going to quickly say, Robbo, in that description, I didn't want to read the whole thing because it does go on a bit, but I will say that Disney very directly has said that they hope that conversations amongst families will be incited, and that's what will happen. So,
cool.
You bang on the money with the direction as to what Disney wants from that, and that is them saying to parents to have these, I hope this provokes good conversation, have these chats with your kids.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic. Really, really nice. All righty, well, let's get on to now what's happened on this day, the 19th of October, throughout history. And first up, we are going to head straight to the United States. 1781 marked the end of the U.S. War, America's war for independence, when British forces signed terms of surrender to George Washington in Yorktown. And we've got some exclusive pictures here from one of the first cameras made that captured that very moment. No, that's not real. That's actually just from Hamilton, that wonderful musical. All right, on this day in 1999, Cher released her smash hit Believe, which went on to win the Grammy for Best Dance Recording. It peaked at #1 in 21 countries worldwide and made Cher the oldest female artist at the age of 52 to reach #1 on the Billboard charts. And on this day in 2017, Jacinda Ardern, at 37, became the youngest leader in New Zealand in 161 years as she formed a coalition government. And she married once again over the weekend with a rare outright parliamentary majority for the first time in 24 years. We know she's watching. She's a big fan of the show. Jacinda, congratulations. Rob, back to you, friend.
Thank you very much, Robbo. Well, it's a big day for the people of Melbourne, with some restrictions eased as the state appears to get the COVID-19 outbreak under control. One of those businesses finally allowed to open their doors are hairdressers. Joey Scandizo has been cutting hair in Melbourne for over 20 years and is a celebrity agent, has a celebrity client list that would make any red carpet blush. He has cut and styled celebs like Annie Winter, Elle Macpherson, Solange Knowles, Priscilla Presley, Usain Bolt and Paris Hilton, just to name a few. Joey, welcome to the Ben, Rob and Robbo Show.
No worries, fellas. Thanks for having me on here.
Mate, today is a very special day as Melburnians are allowed to return to the salons. What does this feel like for you after 25 weeks being closed?
Look, it's been a while. Yesterday was a big day for us. We finally got the green light from Daniel Andrews to allow the hair industry to open up. And it's been a long time coming. We've done it tough for a while. So once we got the call, we got into the salon, got it set up, and we're here today, ready to go. So it's just great news, and the staff are up and about. So the phones are going off the hook, actually. They've been going all day and all night. So everyone's trying to get in. So give us a bit of a chop out if you don't get on the phone straight away. We're doing our best to contact everyone back and get you all in and make Melbourne beautiful again.
Oh, Joey, it is fantastic news. Now, you mentioned your staff there, and you spoke about the mental health of them in the paper yesterday. What was their reaction to the news that you were allowed to reopen?
Oh, mate, these guys are excited. Every morning when the COVID numbers come out, they send me a text, and every time it just got better and better. They were more excited. So for them, these guys are creative. They like, you know what a hairdresser's like. They like to talk. They talk underwater. So sitting at home in their room for 2 hours, and then only allowed out for 2 hours a day is not good. So they got the news. They were stoked. We're all stoked. So we're just happy and fortunate that hairdressing now can open.
Well, you made national news last night because you opened at midnight, which is an unusual time for a hairdressing salon to be open. I've got to ask, now that everyone knows that you're open, have you had any big-name celebrities trying to book themselves in?
The internationals can't get down here at the moment. Daniel Andrews hasn't opened the borders up, so we've got all the local ones here trying to get in. But like last night, I had a couple of my local mates and friends who have been asking me for the last 12 weeks can we come in, can we sneak into the backyard? And I've said no the whole time. So all those people, I texted them yesterday and said, hey, restrictions are eased at midnight. I'm happy to do a couple of haircuts. So I opened the doors up at midnight. We had a couple of drinks and a couple of good-looking blokes and women walking around town early this morning.
Now, Joey, you mentioned Dan Andrews there. This must be a bit of a prickly question possibly for you, but have you been supporting him, and are you still supportive of him now?
Look, I support some of the things he's said and done. I think a few of the things I thought could have been eased a lot quicker. Obviously, hairdressing for us, it's there's an economic side to business as well, which has suffered severely. So as much as we're trying to say, there's a pandemic out there, people are sick and people are dying, but at the same time, businesses are dying. So it's just trying to find the right balance and just using common sense. And I feel sometimes he hasn't used common sense at all. He's just gone off science. And I don't think science is always right. I think sometimes common sense can play part in it as well.
So, Joey, how do you reconcile the fact cases are down, you're allowed to open now? So, what they've done in Victoria has worked to get the virus under control and to get the outbreaks under control.
Yeah, I think you've got to thank all Victorians who have done it pretty tough and done it hard. I mean, the Premier and his team have done a fantastic job, but once again, the general public have done a brilliant job to contain this virus. So we can't just thank our government. You've got to thank the people of Victoria who've done it the hardest, and have suffered severely, and we're going to see them suffer a lot longer as well. A lot of businesses might not open their doors. There's still a lot of businesses in lockdown, which I feel maybe should be open. There should be some opportunity for them to do some sort of business. Hairdressing, on the other hand, it's hard. We can't do a click and collect haircut. So we had to sort of get the doors open, actually try and get some stream of income coming in to keep our business afloat.
You know, you're the face of the industry, essentially, especially for people like myself, you know, who are in Victoria. You know, I need to ask you personally, how did you cope, you know, through such a bizarre time of your life, being that you were taken away from your craft, what it is that you do? How did you manage to cope during this time?
Look, it can be difficult. I mean, we're on the phone all day. We're chatting to our staff, keeping them upbeat and uplifted. But for me, I had a bit of a distraction. We actually did a big salon renovation in the break. So my mind was on the renovation, getting the salon looking sharp, looking world class. So that was my distraction for me personally. But it was more trying to keep the team positive and upbeat. We had a lot of education, a lot of training in that time. So we're just trying to keep them as positive as can be. You know, it's not easy. I can tell you, sitting at home, doing nothing's not easy. And if anyone knows me, I'm up every morning running the tan, staying fit, trying to keep going, and just sitting at home, that's not me. So I kept myself pretty busy.
Hey, look, while you're there, can you talk us through the changes to the salon? We know there are strict protocols for hairdressers moving forward. How do you now have to run your business?
Look, we already did this in the first lockdown. We had the COVID safe plan in place, so we know exactly what has to happen. We know the right protocol we need to use. So we're fortunate, lucky enough, we've got 3 stories here, and there's about 4 different separate rooms, so we can spread our clients out throughout the room. So we've got a COVID plan in place, and we're just following that and just sticking to it, and just doing our best to survive.
Can you actually just quickly show us what it looks like? Do people have to be far apart? What's going on?
Yeah, there's separate rooms down there. We've got separate sections. We have to have them about 1.5 apart.
Right.
So keeping gaps in there. We're just doing our best to survive, and we just open extended hours, doing different hours to try and cope with the demand. Like the phones are going off the hook.
You know how there was like the Rachel haircut on Friends that everyone was getting, and it was this particular style in the 90s. Do you reckon there's a COVID-19 style? Like, is there a particular style of haircut that seems to be more popular?
Yeah, a lot of bad fringes. People are cutting their own fringes and doing dye boxes at home, and we're here trying to fix that up. It's going to take us a while, let me tell you.
Michael Font is out of control.
Yeah, I've got a client in the back corner who's staring at me. She's been under the machine. She's waiting for me. So I'm going to have to jump off pretty soon and get back to doing
good,
some real
mate.
work.
You do it.
Well, Joey,
thank you
for
much.
being on the Ben, Rob and Robbo show. We do appreciate it, mate.
No worries. Thanks for your support, fellas. Take care. Stay safe.
See you, mate.
Cheers.
It's the random life shot of the day. Where are you going today? You never know where you'll end up with the random life shot of the day.
We are taking you to Ukraine. In fact, we're heading to Yalta, a resort town on the Crimea Peninsula along the Black Sea. Yalta, I should have said before, has been a tourist destination since the late 19th century, featuring beautiful scenery, impressive historical buildings, and mild weather. The town is heading for a high of 19 after a low of 9, and there will be some clouds. Look at those beautiful historical buildings there, looking lovely in the that area of the world. Amanda says bankruptcy is down. It turns out there are more zombie businesses than we realise. That is interesting. Alrighty, from Penny. ACA is trash, but Tracy isn't a lawbreaker like the people they chase.
Well,
Robbo,
Penny, can I just say, not everyone ACA chases down the street is lawbreakers. They've chased celebrities as well, and also things like that have to be proven, don't they?
Yes, that's very true, Rob. Thank you. Cameron says, I hope the Paps don't gun for all 3 of you for this show. No, we'd all love it.
I think we're fine.
Glenn says, come what may, you have to keep the dog even if you take action against the breeder. Talking about the dog that was blind, that was sold for a lot of money.
And Robbo, Glenn has been speaking on our Facebook page about some of his personal issues, and the whole community is reaching out to him and thinking of him. Glenn, we hope you get through this, and we are really thinking of you and supporting you.
Absolutely. Well said, Rob. Also from Leonardo, good move, Disney not getting rid of them, but acknowledging the issues in it. Well done, Leo. Thank you, sir. And we've all going to hear from Vanessa, sort of sick of political warning. Disney Plus there putting warnings on some of the movies that have racial stereotypes. Back to you, Rob.
Thank you very much. All right, it's time to talk TV with Mulk from TV Black Box. Hello, Mulk. Another big week in TV. Mulk, you had audio. Are you there?
Hi, it's me. I'm just
He's
kidding.
pretending.
It's all right.
Ah,
I knew straight away. Come for me, my friend.
Oh, that was great.
yeah, very funny, very funny.
It's great to be part of the show again. Hello, Ben, Rob, and Robbo.
Hey, Mulk, each year the TV
Hey, mate.
networks have their annual upfronts event where they pitch to advertisers. We spoke about Channel 9 a month or so ago. Channel 10 have just had theirs. Are we excited about their 2021 slate?
Well, look, I personally am actually really excited, in part, about one of the new shows that they've brought up. Now, all networks, understandably, are taking full advantage of the fact that there are no quotas or an amended quota process for them for 2021. So that means that they don't have to spend a whole bunch of money making dramas and doing all sorts of things. But what we will see is the second season of their Australian drama, 5 Bedrooms, filmed during COVID conditions. That'll come in 2021. 3 new programs. The Doghouse Australia. We've seen the Doghouse UK run on 10 this year. We're going to see a show that is a co-production with NITV called The New Inventors. And the one I'm especially keen for is an Australian version of the Nick Offerman, Amy Poehler crafting reality show called Making It.
Really? You're excited by that?
Look, I love the program with Nick and Amy as hosts. They're executive producers as well. In Australia, we'll see different people host it. The challenge, I think, will be making sure that they cast that correctly. In my opinion, they're making a misstep by turning it into a stripped multi-night reality process. I think it works best 1 episode a week. But what do I know?
Well, I think you know quite a bit, Mulkey. Now, tell me something. Is Grant Denyer leaving?
Look, there is all sorts of rumours coming out of the Australian today that Grant Denyer will be is in discussions with Channel 7, of course, with the Supercars finishing up their run on 10 this year. Dancing with the Stars has not been renewed, shock horror. And even the latest version of Family Feud, which Grant fronted as a part of a sort of a thank you to some of our first presenters that turned up to Fire and those sorts of things, it got cut short because it just wasn't rating. Grant's almost been left high and dry by 10, so it's fair enough that he should be looking elsewhere, with 7 picking up that Supercars coverage from next year for the next 5 years. Grant's been synonymous. He's even competed in the Supercars before. It would make sense to get somebody like Grant, who anchored 10's broadcast yesterday.
Yep.
And Mark, this is quite interesting. A Channel 7 star has been told, by Channel 7 to leave their job. What's the truth there?
Look, it's an interesting situation here. I think that there's a little bit of truth and there's a little bit not in this, okay? So we know that Basil Zempoulos, the Weekend Sunrise host, has been running for Lord Mayor. Congratulations, Basil. He was voted in as Lord Mayor of Perth over the weekend. He's also been a part of a successful breakfast radio duo on 6PR, which is now owned by the 9 Network. So Basil's had his feet in kind of both camps for at least the most of 2020. It's an interesting situation. 7 are absolutely saying they never forced Basil to leave 6PR. He has given that up of his own volition. His contract with 6PR was kind of up for renewal at the end of the year anyway. And I would think, given that he's just scored the very salubrious position of Lord Mayor of Perth, that he'd want to focus a fair bit of his time on that.
But we do know it was widely reported that Channel 7 said, you're not renewing that contract with 6PR. This is outside of the mayoral thing, which he said he would leave 6PR if he got mayor. He did get mayor. 7 just had to wait a few days, didn't they? It just seems very strange that they went, nope, we're making this decision now. Was it them sending a shot across the bow to Channel 9, which owns 6PR?
Oh, look, we know that 7 and 9 are in a bit of a bitchy situation where I know you're celebrating it, Rob, that the bitch is back in that regard between 7 and 9 at least. That there's a little bit of, sort of comms and communications happening around who says what and what they say when. It wouldn't surprise me if there had been discussions with Mr. Zempoulos about the fact that maybe he needs to give up his brekkie radio gig that is working for the opposition. But for it to come out early, I'd almost suggest that sounds like it's someone else has leaked that information.
Yes, very, very interesting. What, Channel 9 perhaps, Mark? Is that what you're saying?
Who could possibly say, Rob?
Well, as you said, the bitch is back and we love it. Malk, you are recording a new episode of TV Black Box tonight. We will hear some of your takes on these stories and much, much more. Don't forget to go to tvblackbox.com.au for the very latest news and gossip from the TV industry. It's the place where the TV industry gets its news, and the podcast will be out tomorrow morning. Make sure you look out for that one. Thank you, Malky.
Thanks, Rob. I look forward to recording that podcast tonight with some of my friends and you.
Oh, I'm a friend. I get to be the friend. Oh,
I did say
you,
some
Mark.
of my friends, Ben.
Oh, okay. I celebrated too soon.
Too soon.
Very funny man. All right. Thank you, Malky.
Rob, we've lost your audio there.
We can't hear. We need to say...
Rob?
He's getting excited about it, though.
They just said, we hope there's no audio issues. Oh, damn it. God damn it. Ben, it's time for some entertainment. And we know that child actors really struggle when it comes to their adult life. Who has found themselves in hot water now?
Well, I grew up watching this show. It was a big show back in the 90s. So the actor who played Tim Allen's son in Home Improvement, and that's Zachary Ty Bryan, he's sitting in jail after allegedly choking his girlfriend during an argument. This all went down in the US over the last couple of days. Wow. Bryan was arrested with that incident, charged with strangulation, fourth-degree assault, and interfering with making a police report. Look, the actor grinned for his mugshot, which infuriated me beyond belief, and that photo was obtained by TMZ. I have to say, looking at some of this, looking at these child stars and then seeing how they get assimilated into their adult life, there's really got to be more that the net can do to make sure that, we are looking after these young people as they do become adults.
Do you think you're reading too much into that photo? Is he grinning? Is he, this is a very embarrassing moment for him. Is it just an awkward look, perhaps?
Look, to be honest with you, it does look a little bit awkward. But when I did read the police reports, he was out the front of the place as they arrived. He was very difficult to deal with. They said that he was mocking police at one point. So look, I think maybe I am reading the report and then seeing that photo as to why it has infuriated me. And look, domestic violence always infuriates me. So,
sure.
Yeah,
absolutely. Hey, look, there seems to be more Hollywood A-listers in Byron than in Hollywood, and they were all invited to a private event over the weekend. What can you tell me about this one?
Well, this is a good one. So the hottest invite in town in Australia was to go to Zac Efron's 33rd birthday on Friday night. The partying kicked off in Byron Bay, and Kyle Sandilands was there. The Hemsworth brothers were photographed in attendance. And then you've got Nicole Kidman and Melissa McCarthy, who are also filming 9 Perfect Strangers in Byron. They are believed to be invited. Nicole Kidman worked with Zac Efron on The Paperboy, and it is believed, without any photos, that she was there to celebrate. So, look, we're lucky to have Zac Efron as our favourite son-in-law.
Is this entertainment for?
This is entertainment for.
Is that it for? Because Rob kept talking to me and I kept answering. The Housewives, Ben, and you've got some bigger casting news. What tell us?
Yeah, this is a good one. So Tori Spelling is reportedly joining the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills cast in a friend role for season 11. It's believed her mummy issues with Candy Spelling could take centre stage. Candy is also friends with another potential cast member, which is Kathy Hilton. Bravo are yet to announce the cast news, but Erica Jane has already commented. I think we've got that now. Take a look.
I mean, if there's anybody that says Beverly Hills, it's Tori Spelling.
That's true.
And she is so true. Look, I think Tori Spelling is really polarizing. I think some people love her and some people hate her. But look, she is Beverly Hills, so could be a fantastic asset to the series.
And David, I'm sorry, I did talk to Robbo on the talkback, and what happened?
That's all right.
We're pulling up the veil,
No,
and I said, do you want it, because it was scripted for me to ask, and I said, do you want to ask this next question? And Robbo was there going, yes, And then I went, hang on, did he answer the question that he wants to ask the next question, or did he answer the fact that he was listening to me? Like, as in, yes, what do you want?
It's all good. It's all good.
This goes
the
with that
parents
whole
of
theory
live
that you
TV.
have. This has that whole theory that you always say to me, Rob. You're like, if you've made a mistake, just pretend it doesn't happen. It hasn't happened and just moved on. And I love to see you taking your own advice and taking a moment to fully explain
I
what
know,
was
I
happening.
always like to, I've never said that. I'm like, stop, analyse, talk to the viewers about it, you know. Anyway.
Fibby.
Who is set to tread the famous SNL stage, Benjamin?
And that would be Adele, you know, the reclusive British
the
singer.
all-new
She's
Adele.
been on SNL. Well, yeah, exactly right. We are going to get to see Adele in her thinned down glory. But it is believed that she is absolutely terrified to be hosting SNL. I couldn't find the date as to when it is. It's either the next week or the week after. But look, she's going to be hosting Saturday Night Live. Not being the
think it's
singing
this week,
person,
Ben.
she will be hosting. Is it this week? I couldn't
I'm
find it. There
pretty
was two
sure it's
conflicting
this
bits of
week.
information.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I love Saturday Night Live, and it's no secret that I still watch it after 444 years. That's right, I'm 444 years old. Still watching SNL. It's a really good season, so I think it's a good get for SNL to get Adele on board. I can understand the nerves. I think it would be really nerve-wracking. As we know, majority of Saturday Night Live is live.
Rolling in the thin, because she's lost a lot of weight, you know.
Oh, yes. Really bad joke, poorly executed, and not even funny. I think it's great.
Wow. October 24 is when Adele will be on Saturday
Thanks,
Night
Rob.
Live. So that is this weekend.
I'll be
yes.
watching.
I've had my... well, speaking of our producer, Abby, I have seen today's TikTok, and I really was hoping we wouldn't have time for it.
So can I just running a bit late because, you know, I was chasing after Joey Scandizzo, just making sure we could get him on the show. And so I did reach out to our producer, Abby, and said, hey, would you be interested in looking for a funny TikTok of the day? She was so good. I was waiting for her to write back and say I'm too busy or yada. She said, I would love to. And then she went and found a few TikToks, gave them to her mum to watch. So now we're throwing her mum under the bus. And she found that Abby's mum laughed at this. So here's today's TikTok of the day.
I like big boys, itty bitty boys, Mississippi boys, and the city boys. I like the pretty boys with the bow tie. Get your nails did, let it blow dry. I like a big beard, I like a clean face. I don't discriminate.
It's great.
Abby never gets to pick the TikTok again. Oh my God.
She even said in the message, she said, no, I've got great ones like that. Yeah, you want funny? Yeah, it'll be a pleasure. I've got all of them. I saw the runner-up to that one actually too, and it was god-awful.
Now, I do want to say, Abby is one of the best producers I've ever worked with in my 25 years. Her attention to detail, her ideas, seriously, she hasn't even been producing that long, but she comes up with great stuff. This was not her finest hour.
I thought those dogs were cute.
Yeah, roll it
You
again.
guys are mean. It's so mean. I thought it was cute. Good job. Good job.
I like big boys, itty bitty boys, Mississippi boys, and the city boys. I like the pretty boys with the bow tie. Get your nails did, let it blow dry. I like a big beard, I like a clean face. I don't discriminate.
I mean,
cute, but so
Getting
Abby
worse
was
as you play it.
promoted to TikTok executive producer. She is now been relieved of that role. We'll be advertising again. It'll be back to Ben, actually. It was the quickest promotion and demotion that's ever happened in the industry ever. So,
now, you know what,
just a
Robbo?
little peach.
Your timing is beautiful because we've got just enough time for today's conundrum. So it's over to you.
Oh.
No, you know what I'll do? No, I've got one for you. When you get something wrong, but you say that you were right, how quickly should you apologise? I'm going to do that right now. I said at the beginning of the show, suicide rates had gone. I thought I'd seen a report where it said they had increased, under 18 slightly increased, but there's not enough data for that. Ben, you were right. I was wrong. I do apologise.
Oh my God, where's my bell?
What? Oh, well, I'm never doing it again then.
I'm back.
There were stats.
I'm back, people.
Yes.
I'm back.
Yes.
What just happened? Oh my goodness.
I apologise
ever,
all the
Ben.
time.
Oh, that was beautiful. Oh. Robbo,
I really appreciate that.
Robbo, I stuck up for you.
Yeah, well, I got a little bit of wrong information that wasn't exactly what I was powering on with. I saw it on my screen. I just read it. Important lesson for everyone involved. But I
feel bad though, guys, because like at the end of the day, I wish that I'd won something that was like, you know, it's worth. I mean, it is. It's just such a hard topic. We're talking.
You want a bit of respect.
Yeah,
a bit of respect.
And that's worth your weight in gold.
Should I fall off my? Should I fall off my seat again? I think it's just so.
No.
You know, it's funny, Robbo. I just was going to say, you know, Robbo, before we finish up the show, just tell you that I was talking to a friend of mine who worked in the industry, and I was like, you know, would it be bad to reveal my source for something? And he was like, look, Ben, if you reveal your source, you give up your credibility as a journalist. And I responded and said, credibility as a journalist? I've got like a fake pen license for my journalism integrity. I'm basically Gail Weathers from Scream. I'm just, you know, I'm a journalist on a wish and a prayer. So look, I'm gonna own it. But I will say this is a step forward in the direction of me becoming a factual and credible journalist.
Correct. Absolutely. I'm very
like
proud
that.
of you.
I think that's very fair
Very,
enough,
very
Ben.
proud.
Good on you. You know, it's can we reveal, Ben, who we've got coming up in a few weeks? Can we talk about that yet?
Yeah, we can. Perez?
Yeah.
Are we going to talk about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who is it,
We just
Rob?
did.
Do a big introduction, a big reveal. Do a big showbiz reveal. Who have we got?
No, he would have liked the answer either way. Even if I said we can't talk about it, so we're not talking about this. He would have liked. He would have liked that. I understand that. But look, you know, I've chatted on and off over the years to Perez on the social media, you know, for quite some time actually. And he's a polarizing individual, but he has a book that's just come out called Too Much Information, and we're going to get down to some of the juicy bits of gossip with that, and also. We're going to have someone else who I really like. We're going to have Heather McDonald on the show. And so for people out there that know
we may not fully know her here, right? But she's quite an interesting person. She's very big in the States.
Yeah, she is. Look, she's a comedian and actress. She actually used to work as a producer and a script writer on the Chelsea Lately show. She also used to book talent for that show. She's been in Hollywood for a really long time. She's got friends like Kris Jenner. She socializes with all the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and I think she's going to be a fantastic guest, and that is coming up in the next couple of days.
That'll be fantastic. And we are also gearing up for our election coverage, as we will be teaming up with the good folk at Ticker TV, and we will be doing a comprehensive coverage of the US presidential election early next month, which is just a few weeks away. So we better get our poo together. But that brings us to the end of today's Ben, Rob and Robbo show. We've had a lot of fun and can't wait to see you tomorrow. Have a great weekend. Have a great night, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye, boys.
Bye.
It's the Ben, Rob and Robbo, Ben, Rob and Robbo, Ben, Rob and Robbo show.